Welcome to the regular council meeting Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024 at 4:40 in council chambers and via Zoom. We acknowledge that the town of Kirkland Lake is located on the traditional territory of all peoples, including Beaver House First Nation and unceded territory of other Indigenous peoples. We recognize the presence of Algonquin, Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Cree, and Métis people in our community since time immemorial, and honor their stewardship and care of these lands. We hereby affirm our continued commitment and responsibility to reconciliation. Call to order in a moment of silence. Item number 2, approval of the agenda.
Moved by Councillor Janice Ranger, seconded by Councillor Rod Chaba, be it resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of council held on Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024 be approved as circulated.
Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 3, declaration of pecuniary interest. I am declaring this evening, I, Stacey White, am declaring deemed pecuniary interest on the agenda meeting dated April 2nd, 2024 in open item 6.3 OMA Local 215 collective agreement. It is deemed as the matter may affect my child. The nature of my interest is my daughter is employed at TPR. Thank you. Item number 4, petitions and delegations. There are none this evening. Item number 5, acceptance of minutes and recommendations. 5.1, council minutes.
Moved by Councillor Casey Owens, seconded by Councillor Dolly Dykens, be it resolved that council approve the minutes of the following meetings. Minutes of the regular meeting of council held March 19th, 2024, and minutes of the special meeting of council held March 27th, 2024.
All in favor? Opposed? Item carried. Item number 5.2, local and regional board minutes.
Moved by Councillor Rick Owens, seconded by Councillor Patrick Riley, be it resolved that council receive the minutes of the following meeting. Minutes of the District of Temiskaming Social Services Administration Board of Directors held February 21st, 2024.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 6, reports of municipal officers and communications. Item 6.1, Madam Clerk, can you speak to this matter?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, members of council. Unfortunately, due to technical errors, a staff report that was prepared for this matter was omitted from the agenda as circulated. Administration is respectfully requesting that the matter be deferred to April 16th for transparency purposes. And I printed a copy of the report for your review prior to the next agenda publication date. I'm not sure if Anthony circulated those at your desks. And I thank you and I apologize for the oversight.
Thank you. We do appreciate that. We need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Owen and Councillor Ranger. Thank you. Oh, sorry, not that done. Okay. Okay, so all in favor of deferral? Opposed? None noted. Deferral carried unanimously. Thank you. Item number 6.2, proposed customer code of conduct policy. Jennifer Montoy, Municipal Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As the report is detailed and explanatory, I will keep it brief. Providing excellent customer service is vital to the town meeting its standards to delivery of high quality programs and services. Our primary goal and approach with customers is to explore and understand their requests and inquiries with the objective of providing a response and a resolution. All customers of the town are entitled to be treated fairly and in a respectable manner. In turn, customers are required to treat town employees, our representatives, and other customers in a courteous, respectful, and civil manner as well. Post-pandemic, vexatious and unreasonable customer behavior has been on the rise, causing public unrest in certain circumstances. This puts employees in a very difficult position and compromises the town's ability to deliver quality customer service effectively while keeping health and safety of our employees at first sight. Currently, there is no uniform corporate established process on how to attend to escalating situations as they transpire. It behooves the municipality to establish parameters and to identify those with the authority to enact greater methods of managing those difficult situations. In the past, discussions have been viewed from a single lens, while the proposed policy offers a number of techniques and options to manage conflict resolution in a fair and consistent manner and will better assist law enforcement's engagement in formally engaging in an incident and following through with formal investigations. The proposed policy is consistent with and complements a variety of corporate policies, including the violence and harassment in the workplace policy, which is relevant to staff in the workplace. If so approved by council in the coming month itself, a robust public marketing campaign will be designed by the Director of Community Services, the Strategic Initiatives and Workplace Performance Coordinator, and myself to formally educate our customers, our staff, and our administration on the policy itself, the expectations of service and respect, how to take situational action, and dive into the protocols surrounding behavior management. I'm available for questions if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Councillor Ranger?
Thank you through you, Madam Mayor, to council. Thank you so much for this policy. I read it thoroughly and I'm not unfamiliar with it. I was surprised that there wasn't one already in place. I think this is at some point just general housekeeping. I did like the incident report itself. I was looking for it in the package, as there does need to be a paper trail. I would also recommend that at some point you could have what's called a BIT, which is a behavioral intervention team, which is a collection of maybe frontline staff and management who discuss the behavioral incidents. And you could also look at having training for somebody to have debriefing qualifications when there is an incident that's escalated, and it would allow the staff member or the volunteer, whoever was part of that incident, to have somebody that they can go to that's trained and properly able to discuss with them the situation. Thank you.
Excellent point. Anything further from members of council? Councillor Shabba?
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair, to start. Yes, I do appreciate you making forward this it's not a bylaw, yeah. Policy, thank you. Because no one, should be in a very toxic work environment. We're not tolerate that in the workplace, and this is very timely. You do indicate that post-COVID, we've got a lot of this instances of people coming in and behaving appropriately. What are we talking? Do you guys keep statistics at all? And what kind of numbers are we talking about on a weekly or monthly basis? Is there something that we'll keep track of, or just keeping track of? We don't really should be doing that going forward. Yes, education is very good, and also that we need to see the stats to make sure that this policy is working and will be a deterrent. So I don't know what the past statistics are. You can comment on that, please.
Madam Chair?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to council, all of council and Councillor Shabbat specifically, we have had a number of incidences. I think it was between 3 and 5 in the last 2 years that I've been here. And they've all been reactive response rather than remediative response. Oftentimes it's an educational piece that escalated because of the lack of tools and information to staff. In terms of escalations as for post-COVID, it's hard to gauge right now, other than just public unrest in general for a number of causes, reasons, not necessarily those impacting the local municipality, but transfers into a municipal problem when somebody is not met with the appropriate aid that they require. So right now, I can only speak to about 3 to 5 instances in the last 2 years. And in terms of supplement comment about Councillor Ranger's comments about having a debrief session and having a team to review the incidents, similar to what we do with our employee workplace program, we don't do the same. We are also developing internal standard operating procedures, more in-depth operating procedures for our administration and our staff. That's that would be part of the work in the next month, to be able to get that program up and running.
Excellent. Anything further from members of council? Nothing further. You can leave the motion, please.
Certainly, Madam Mayor. Moved by Councillor Casey Owen, seconded by Councillor Rick Owen. Be it resolved that report number 2024-80-11, entitled Proposed Customer Code of Conduct Policy, be received, and that council approve the Customer Code of Conduct Policy as presented. and the council direct that the customer code of conduct policy take effect immediately, and find that the customer code of conduct policy be numbered and inserted into the corporate policy manual.
Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 6.3 supplemental ONA local 215. I will have acting Mayor Councillor Owens take the chair. Thank you.
Item 6.3 supplemental ONA local 25 collective agreement 2023-25. Cassandra Young, manager of HR services.
Acting Mayor Owens, and through you to council. So I'm bringing here today the collective agreement for our ONA local 215. This was brought to council on November 7th, 2023 as an approved memorandum of agreement between the town and ONA local 215. So now it is time to execute the collective agreement, which was ratified between the town and ONA. If you recall, there were majority of items that were discussed through the MOA. So we've got mostly housekeeping items, some financial costs, some housekeeping, and health and safety. So we've concluded that the wage increases would be 7.5 effective April 1st, 2023, and then 3% effective April 1st, 2024. And then incremental costs such as salary, overtime, and shift premiums would be approximately $366,000. These increases also align with our Kaplan arbitrated award that was brought forward through the ONA Hospital Central Agreement. And that's about that in terms of the report, just looking to bring that through with the bylaw.
Questions from the table? No, we'll have a motion.
Moved by Councillor Janice Ranger, seconded by Councillor Rick Owens. Be it resolved that report number 2024-22 entitled supplemental ONA local 215 collective agreement be received.
All in favor? Carried.
Thank you, Acting Mayor Owens. Item number 6.4, retail business holiday exemption bylaw. Dan Labrador, Director of Development and Enterprise Services.
Good evening, through you, Madam Mayor, to council. Due to some recent inquiries from the business community, I'm before you this evening for direction and consideration of a retail business holiday exemption bylaw. This would permit retail businesses to operate on holidays under the Ontario Retail Businesses Act of 1990. As it would affect the business community, we're asking that there'll be a public meeting being held on this to let the business community weigh in as this would affect them. A little bit of background: currently in Ontario, retail businesses within the municipality that don't have a retail holiday exemption bylaw must be closed on the 9 holidays. In my report, I outlined the holidays of New Year's Day, January 1st, Family Day, Good Friday, Easter Sunday, Victoria Day, Canada Day, Labor Day, Thanksgiving Day, and Christmas Day. Of course, there are exemptions. I listed the exemptions below. There are quite substantial amount of exemptions that would follow. Previously, there had been inquiries and some misinformation had been given and that there was no bylaw here in Kirkland Lake and stating that it didn't exist. So we have in your package, you can see that we have received a letter from a new business owner of an established business franchise here in Kirkland Lake. So in 2003, the municipality had received a request from the Kirkland Lake Chamber of Commerce. And that was to request that businesses be permitted to conduct business on July 1st, Canada Day. Hence the 0323 bylaw was passed to permit them. And municipalities that rely and have a strategic focus on tourism and attraction are normally more inclined to pass a bylaw of this nature to allow the opportunity for businesses to operate during those holidays and give visitors alike the opportunity to visit shops and businesses while they're here. As I have in my report, there are alternatives that can be considered. Well, first, we could do status quo and leave the bylaw stating just July 1st, Canada Day. And second, that we leave it status quo and do some enforcement and education of the bylaw. With that, though, we would incur some more expenses. We don't have weekend and holiday hours in our bylaw services currently. There has been a draft, I think Clerk Montroy, for giving you a draft bylaw to show you what that would look like for council's consideration. If you are on page 4 of the report, the proposed in effect date, so there is a an appeal period, 13th day after the bylaw is enacted. And procedurally, once we host a public meeting, we could have everything tied up before the Victoria Day long weekend. And I am open for questions.
Thank you, sir. Before I open the table, I just want to acknowledge that I believe that this addresses the changing needs of the workforce and our business community in 2024. So thank you for bringing this forward. Any questions or comments from members of council?
Yes.
Oh, Councillor Shava,
You go ahead. Okay.
Councillor Shava.
Okay. That's me.
So I always look to the right first. I do apologize. To the left.
To you, Madam Chair. Thank you very much for bringing this forward. I know in bigger cities, they have tourist areas whereby, you know, they can exempt them from all this to holidays. So I'm looking at this, but we don't really have per se tourist area. So I'm going to just let people, they want to open, just do. I know Pronto opens 24/7. So I don't know where they fall under, you know, down on Duncan. So I guess with this going forward, I would assume that that would be anyone, irrespective of where your location is. Right?
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, in larger cities, they can designate certain regions or sections of the city. For our situation as a small town, it would be designated for businesses within the town of Kirkland Lake.
Thank you. Councillor Dykens.
To you, Madam Mayor, to the director. Is there another option that we could not have it open for all of those days, that we'd be more lenient, but not, and I understand the changing nature of society, but I just wonder if there's another option.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Dykens. Most certainly, you could take a look at the list of 9 and designate in the bylaw the ones that council should choose to consider exempt and leave certain other ones non-exempt. Keeping in mind that any ones that we do not choose, or we on that list of 9, we would then fall under the responsibility of the provincial act to enforce should it be open when the bylaw states that it's not.
Thank you. Councillor Ranger.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, to council. I think this puts us at an advantage that with online shopping, I think people in our community or those visiting will have the opportunity to purchase those items locally instead of online, which is more of a new thing pre-COVID or post-COVID than it was pre-COVID. Also, I want us to caution that if we're gonna look at certain designated dates, that a lot of them have a religious overtone to those dates. And as our population is ever changing, those dates may not be as relevant as they may have been in the past. So it's sometimes safer to just use a more blanket bylaw to cover all, like to not cover any dates or omit certain dates. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Owen.
Through you, Madam Mayor, my comments go in the same direction as Counselor Ranger, where business is changing. It's, our few local businesses have to compete with the online market or stores that are open in North Bay, Sudbury, Pins. If I need something at home and I don't have it, I don't wait for the store to open. I don't want it yesterday, I don't want it in 2 days, I want it now. So I think it's only fair that our business, it's up to the business to decide when they can talk with their employees. They know their employees, they can make the decision for them or with them.
Thank you, Counselor Owen.
Yes, the times are changing. I remember when I was a little boy, the big issue in Brampton was opening stores on Sunday, okay? We are trying to promote ourselves as a tourism center. As such, we service the entire area with our retail stores and our, what I call retail services, such as mechanics, machine shops, dealerships. Therefore, I think if we want to grow and support our business, we should be open. Now, as for certain days not being included, there are days in that list which I would prefer not to shop for religious reasons, and I will make that decision myself. I will not shop on certain days that are in that list. I do not impose my religious convictions upon other people. That's up to them to decide. Also, I think a good part of that will be dictated by business itself. If they decide to open on a certain holiday the one year, and they find out they did no business, they lost money, next year they probably won't be open. So I see that issue as a personal issue and one that sorts itself out through dollars and cents that merchants make. So I certainly support opening it up. It will help our strategy of making us an attraction.
Thank you. Anything further from members of council? Nothing else noted. Madam Clerk?
Certainly. Moved by Counselor Patrick Kylie, seconded by Counselor Casey Owens. Be it resolved that report number 2024 DEV 9 entitled Retail Business Holiday Exemption Bylaw be received. And finally, that a public meeting be held on Tuesday, April 16th, 2024 at 4:40 p.m. to allow for local business retailers to provide comments on the proposed retail business holiday exemption bylaw.
All in favor?
Sorry, can I have a recorded vote, please?
Absolutely.
Ready, please, ready. It's April. Item number 6. A recorded vote has been requested upon the request of Counselor Dykens, Counselor Janice Ranger. Aye. Counselor Latchab. Counselor Casey Owens.
Yep.
Counselor Dolly Dykens.
No.
Counselor Rick Owen.
Yay,
Counselor Patrick Kylie.
yay.
Mayor White.
Yay.
The motion is carried.
The motion is carried. Thank you. Item number, thank you, Dan. Item 6.5, 2024 Corporate Business Plan, Alan Smith, Chief Administrative Officer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. The corporate business plan for council this evening is based on the departmental business plan that the directors and managers put together. The plan outlines the strategies, initiatives, actions that the town aims to achieve for each priority area in the corporate strategic plan. By clearly defining these, the plan sets a clear path forward, providing a roadmap for effective decision-making and resource allocation. The corporate business plan also informs the budget, which is designed to support the projects and initiatives needed to meet the strategic priorities of council. So now the town has a comprehensive system in place. Each year, departments will draft their departmental plans, which are at a high level, not your day-to-day operations. Administration will then develop the corporate business plan, which will inform the budget. It must be stressed, all of this supports the priorities and vision within the corporate strategic plan. I'd be welcome to answer any questions, and also have the directors here this evening presenting specific about their department.
Thank you, sir. Before opening the table, I just want to congratulate the entire team. This is the best description of departments I've seen since the departmental manual of 2012. So I acknowledge that there was a huge amount of work that went into this. And I hope that it's going to be not only a measuring stick, but a roadmap to our success in 2024 and beyond. So congratulations to all members of staff. You did amazing work on this. So thank you, sir. Any comments or questions from members of council? Yeah. Councillor Owen? No? Okay.
Sorry, I just hit my.
That's okay. Yeah. So none noted. Madam Clerk, I'll have the reading of the motion.
Madam Mayor, moved by Councillor Patrick Kelly, seconded by Councillor Lon Chava, be it resolved that report number 2024, CAO 5 entitled 2024 corporate business plan, be received for information.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. It's kind of like being an option, even the smallest gesture.
I'll call this a point of order.
Oh,
The same thing happened at DSAB meeting, so I think I'm gonna have to tie my hands underneath the desk, future meetings.
considerations of notice of motions. I will again have acting mayor, Councillor Owens, come up and take the chair. Thank you.
The motion for this discussion.
That's how we usually do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Okay. Item 7, consider the votes of motion 7.1, Mayor White letter of understanding with Beaver House First Nation.
Okay, moved, as presented, moved by Mayor Stacy White, seconded by Councillor Lon Chava. Anybody else the agenda? Very corrected.
Okay. So sorry, just a point of order then?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, so just to let, staff and the public know that we have received edits and suggestions from, Chief Wayne Wabi of First Nations. So in our original packages, it was the original wording, and now it's been amended to reflect those amendments from Chief Wayne Wabi. Sorry, thank you.
I think we will council, I can read the motion as amended. If it's okay, so we will read the motion as proposed amended by the chief, but the chief's changes. Moved by Mayor Stacy White, seconded by Councillor Lon Chava. Whereas Beaver House First Nation is a First Nation located on the banks of Kirkland Lake in the Mesema River system. And whereas Beaver House First Nation was missed at time of treaty, whereby Canada and Ontario did not sign Treaty 9 with the ancestors of Beaver House First Nation. And whereas on April 19th, 2022, the Government of Canada, through the Department of Crown Indigenous Relations, recognized Beaver House First Nation as being a Section 35 right-bearing First Nation under Canada's Constitution. And whereas the Corporation of the Town of Kirkland Lake recognizes that Beaver House First Nation has governed itself since time immemorial in accordance with its own inherent laws, jurisdiction, governance, and responsibilities. And whereas the recognition offers a profound opportunity for the Town of Kirkland Lake and Beaver House First Nation to restore their rightful place as true partners in the economic, political, and social fabric of our community. And whereas the Town of Kirkland Lake believes the path to true reconciliation is through action. Therefore, be it resolved that the Corporation of the Town of Kirkland Lake develop a letter of understanding with Beaver House First Nation as a commitment to renewing and strengthening our community relationships and working together in good faith to achieve lasting reconciliation.
Madam Mayor, we'd like to see your motion.
Thank you, Acting Mayor Owens. I do believe this motion speaks for itself. Since last term, we've opened our meetings with a well-written land acknowledgement. However, reconciliation should be rooted in action rather than just pretty words. A letter of understanding can strengthen our communities and ensure that we are respecting both of our communities, which hold the same space.
Councillor Chava, do you want to have anything to add to it?
It's always very good to, open relationships. We always talk about our next door neighbors, municipalities here and there, and, we don't talk enough about our First Nation people that, there are immediate neighbors, so I think the family, better understanding. I wish to see more of this for the other, indigenous groups. To say that, we wanna open up, wanna have a relationship with them and wanna work with them, collaborate and see, where we can work together. And then see where we can share resources as well, because their needs, I work with some of them. I know that their needs are similar to our needs as municipalities, so this is a very timely, motion, and, I urge you guys, to support it.
Counselor Carly.
Through you, your worship. I'd just like to comment, I'm very pleased to see this, letter of, understanding, being proposed. Beaver House First Nation has come a long way. Thanks to Wayne Wabi, he's done an excellent job. And, as in the past, I've worked within the community, and, it's nice to see that they've made, headway in being appointed, as a true First Nation community. So, this is, long overdue and, certainly appreciated.
Any more questions from the council? No, I fully support this as well. It's definitely a step in the right direction.
Or unless they
No,
want
yeah, it's me.
unless they want me to repeat the motion.
No, no.
Okay.
Just do it. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Item 7.2, Mayor White exotic animals. Read the motion.
Certainly. Moved by Mayor Stacy White, seconded by Councillor Rick Owens. Whereas Ontario, yeah, I am aware, like Councillor Owens, is,
The second,
it was the seconder, however, he's in the chair, so Councillor Owens, graciously given his second.
Oh, yes, I did.
okay, I'll change that.
Whereas Ontario has more private, non-native, exotic wild animal keepers, roadside zoos, mobile zoos, wildlife exhibits, and other captive wildlife operations than any other province. And whereas the province of Ontario has yet not developed regulations to prohibit or restrict animal possession, breeding, or the use of exotic wild animals in captivity. And whereas exotic wild animals can pose very serious human health and safety risks, and attacks causing human injury and death have occurred in the province. And whereas the keeping of exotic wild animals can cause poor animal welfare and suffering and poses risks to local environments and wildlife. And whereas owners of exotic wild animals can move from one community to another even after their operation have been shut down due to animal welfare or public health and safety concerns. And whereas municipalities have struggled often for months or years to deal with exotic wild animal issues and have experienced substantive regulatory, administrative, enforcement, and financial challenges. And whereas the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, AMO, the Association of Municipal Managers, Clerks, and Treasurers of Ontario, AMCTO, and the Municipal Law Enforcement Officers Association, MLEOA, have indicated their support for a World Animal Protections Campaign for provincial regulations of exotic wild animals and roadside zoos, and letters to the Ontario Solicitor General and Ontario Minister for Natural Resources and Forestry. Therefore, be it resolved that the Corporation of the Town of Kirkland Lake hereby petitions the provincial government to implement provincial regulation to restrict the possession, breeding, and use of exotic wild animals and licensed zoos in order to guarantee the fair and consistent application of policy through Ontario for the safety of Ontario's citizens and the exotic wild animal population. And finally, that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Premier of Ontario, Ontario Solicitor General, Ontario's Minister for Natural Resources and Forestry, MPP Timiskaming Cochrane, AMO, AMCTO, MLEAO, and all municipalities within the district of Timiskaming.
Mayor White, would you like to speak to this motion?
Thank you, Acting Mayor Owens. So this has been a long time coming, just to refresh everybody's memory. There was an incident in Latchford last year where a baboon broke out of an enclosure and bit an RN as she was, assisting a person across the street. So, I became aware of this through TMA, one of our meetings, it was brought to us, and when we went to conference, we discussed this. And so it has been ongoing. I had introduced this months ago, saying that I was gonna bring it, but the wordings didn't come until very recently. So I do, want to acknowledge World Animal Protection for the draft wording. Bridget Cherry, who is the senior advisor for AMO, of course, Danny Whelan, the president of FONO, and Sharon Gajuri-Beast, the unfortunate mayor, that had to deal with the issue that, inspired me to bring this to our council to support. I believe having no wording regarding exotic animals is a detriment to all of our communities. So I hope fellow council members will support this motion.
Councilor Owen, have any comments?
Yes, through you, Acting Mayor Owens. I hate to admit this, but I am now a senior. I don't move as fast as I used to. And should one of my neighbors have exotic animals that might be of danger to me and that could escape, I'm less able to escape them. The incident in Latchford, I think, brought this to light, and I want to mention that Mayor White has very strong support from Temiskaming Municipal Association. She's spoken more than once about this. Also, I have grandchildren. And you know what? What's more interesting to a little kid than a monkey? Right? Or a baboon? They don't realize the risks that this potentially could pose to them. So I think it's important. It's shocking that there is no province-wide legislation. So I think it's very important that council supports this motion. Thank you.
Councilor Carlin.
Sure, your worship. Not to open a can of worms, but somebody raising chickens outside their house.
That's different, that legislation, no. It wouldn't fall under this.
That's what I'm wondering, if we're overstepping.
Sure.
Through you, acting chair, thanks for Kylie. There is legislation, under the Planning Act, and there is there's a whole section on poultry and livestock in that circumstance, that is totally aside from exotic animals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question? Or,
I'm just wondering if chickens are allowed, because somebody in Chappaqua has that.
I, without looking at the bylaws, I wouldn't know right off the top of my head, but it is covered under the Planning Act, and we would have to look at it if somebody were to, file a complaint with the town.
our system's complaint driven, so that's,
Yeah.
go down that road with that. Councilor Ranger.
Thank you, through you, acting mayor. I'm currently not in support of, this, proposed language. I think a lot of it is, if it bleeds, it leads when it comes to, what we see in the media. I think a lot of it needs to go towards education, and, these wouldn't be attractions, these side fairs and stuff, if people chose not to attend them and, encourage this type of collection of exotic animals. I'm currently not in favor also because, I know that there are some people who, collect reptiles and other specialty animals and are very respectful, and it can be a livelihood for some other people. So if the language was to be more specific or less broad, then I may be inclined to change, but at this time I'm not.
Any more comments or questions? We don't need to read it a second time, I think we can just.
However, having through you, Mr. Acting Mayor, I have an indulgence, that I want to ask the mayor, because I did note that TMA and Fidel were not listed under and finding that, so I don't know. Yourself
yes.
and your seconder, want to have them included as part of the circulation.
Mayor White?
Sorry, acting Mayor Owens, I do appreciate that you caught that. There was an oversight on my part. Thank you.
We can go with the vote. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
My fault. Thank you, Acting Mayor Owens. We'll now proceed. Item number 7.3 has been withdrawn. Item number 8, introduction, reading, and considerations of bylaws. Item 8.1, bylaw number 24-017.
Moved by Counselor Casey Owens, seconded by Counselor Rick Owens, be it resolved that the following bylaw be read and numbered as signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and so the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-17, being a bylaw to establish the remuneration for members of council or the town of Kirkland Lake.
All in favor?
No, point of clarity. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think it's contradictory because we voted not to have a raise and what, the numbers that are in there for our pay includes the 1%. So
Okay, sorry, Counselor Dykens, you're recognized by the chair.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Go ahead, proceed.
Through Madam Chair, there's contradictory information included in this, bylaw. We voted not to have a 1% increase and the numbers, I'm not sure for the mayor, because I'm not familiar with, your rate of pay, but for the councillors, it includes the 1%. It's, currently, they get paid $521.40 each week, bi-weekly, for a total of $13,556.40. And this includes the 1%. So it's just contradictory.
Okay, we'll just pause for a
Sorry.
second. Confirmation.
That's good.
It was like 200 pages, so.
I think it's right in the back. Can I, indulge in a few moments of recess?
Yeah, we will now take a 5-minute recess. Okay, so we have risen from recess. Before opening the table, I will have Madam Clerk speak to the point of order Councillor Dykens brought forward.
So through you, Madam Mayor, to all council, and for at the point of order raised by Councillor Dolly Dykens, she was actually correct. The bylaw should be reading mayor annual remuneration of $37,480.30, which equates to $1,441.55 bi-weekly. And then councillors is $13,556.40, and with a bi-weekly amount of $521.40. And also, the fourth recital needs to be removed because an increase was not a result.
Thank you for that. Excellent catch, Councillor Dykens. Anything further from the table? Councillor Shabba?
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair, to the clerk, and I already just discussed it with her as a point of clarification. Looking at this bylaw, last week, last time we met, I didn't think it was the intent of everybody here to have the $75 remuneration removed. I think the intent was to accommodate people that did not find that $75 sufficient, which we've done in, item number 5 of this bylaw. But then what this bylaw is doing, I guess excluded the $75. So I understand I have a procedure to follow to bring that back in future.
Sorry, Madam Clerk, can you respond?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Shabba. So in fact, this bylaw is just stemming from that policy that was passed at the last meeting. Insofar that council did vote to remove the $75 per meeting and substitute it with be reimbursed at the value of a member's wage as submitted per day for up to 6 days per annum. If you wish to have that policy reconsidered, you must do so by a notice of motion or by a 2/3 recorded vote of the whole of council at this meeting or another meeting of your so choosing. In speaking to the policy, we'll need to come back regardless to ensure that those amounts are reflective in the schedule, as well as we have to do some minor amendments to some of the naming of the committees, part of the set of schedules. However, the section on the reimbursement would need to be notice of reconsideration.
You satisfied with that, Councillor?
Yeah, I certainly will, I will look into that because, I think the way it is now, people are, retirees here, I don't think this bylaw captures how they will be remunerated if they have to come to a council function, so you have to, when you're talking about wages, my understanding is you're talking about wages, members' wages as submitted, so members don't have wages. So I don't know. So anyway, maybe anyways, we'll do the notice of motion in the future. Thank you.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with the model.
Thank you. Okay, so we're not gonna engage on that
No.
this evening. We do appreciate your points. And that can be brought up at a future date. Okay, anything further regarding this? Again, good catch. Okay, so do we have to?
Yeah, can we read it?
Okay.
Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor, municipal clerk, and so the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 2417 being a bylaw to establish the remuneration for members of council for the town of Kirkland Lake as amended. And I was just, through you, Madam Mayor, wanting to ensure that Councillor Casey Owens and Councillor Rick Owen are still okay with the matter as we go on the table.
Perfect, thank you. All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item 8.2, bylaw 24-018.
Moved by Councillor Rod Chava, seconded by Councillor Patrick Kiley. Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor, municipal clerk, and so the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 2418 being a bylaw to authorize the corporation of the town of Kirkland Lake to enter into an agreement with Ontario Nurses Association Local 215.
All in favor? Opposed? Item carried unanimous. I apologize. I can't vote on that. Sorry, I do apologize. Yeah, so I have to do Canary Winter. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, we'll trade off, but I have to.
Could it not be the
Yeah.
same community interest and do?
No, it's a different item and it's take the vote. Okay, at this moment, I will call acting mayor Councillor Owens up to take the chair and I will. Leave the room.
No, I have to wait for you to read your motion.
Oh. Okay. Acknowledgement.
Carry what?
I, Cece White, am declaring deemed pecuniary interest on item on the agenda this evening dated April 2nd, 2024. Item number 8.2 in open, agenda title 24-080 ONA local 215 collective agreement. It is deemed as the matter affects my child. The nature of my interest is as follows. My daughter is employed at TPR. Thank you.
Revote.
I can reread and.
Do we need to reread or just revote? Actually, just revote and fine. I mean, the outcome's gonna be the same. All in favor? Nope.
All right. No, that's. Okay, item number 9, questions from council to staff. None were submitted prior to council this evening. Item number 10, notices of motion. I do have one myself. To return to combined, Ontario Good Roads Association and Roma Conference. I will bring that back at next regular council meeting. Item number, I didn't, so, yeah, before I started talking. Okay, item number 11, councilors' reports. Councilor Owen.
So this was not something I've done personally. It's more of a comment and, as counselors, we choose to do this. If we vote on something that's not popular, we're basically paid to take the criticism. But over the weekend, I think there was a lot of criticism that was brought forward on a decision that we made as a council. And unfortunately, staff got dragged down into it and something took a beating, like a really harsh beating, and I wasn't okay with that. It's not, our staff work hard, so thank you to the staff that are here and to the staff that are under you. Some people are very brave behind a keyboard to say what they think and criticize openly that we pay our staff too much, that our staff don't do anything, and that's not true. We need to be competitive. We're competing with legal for staffing our other municipalities. We need to make sure we can retain our staff, and to tax staff the way they did on the weekend wasn't right. And I think as a council, we need to stand behind our staff, and that's what I'm doing with this report is I stand behind our staff, and our staff are why our municipality functions the way it does right now, and it functions well. So, thanks.
Thank you, Councilor Owens. Councilor Owen.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I also want to thank Casey for bringing that point to light. Council's decisions are not made by staff. And criticism of staff that is, trust me, I know, because I had 2 members of my family that used to be staff at town hall. So I know they take a lot of unnecessary criticism. But on a more positive note, this is just a teaser because I cannot say anything yet. And Pat and I attended the recent DSAB meeting, and there is some good news coming out of that down the road for Kirkland Lake. At least I consider it good news, and I believe Councillor Kylie considers this good news. So as soon as we get the green light, I'll be able to, or Pat will be able to give you more details, but there is more good news coming out of DSAB. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further for members of council? I myself want to first acknowledge that March 30th was the 90th anniversary of local radio station CJKL. For many of us, CJKL not only provided local news, sports, and entertainment, but also much of the soundtrack of our lives. From Saturday Night Rocks and Sunday Morning Oldies to the 3-song super sessions and the iconic voices which represent our community through the airwaves for generations. CJKL plays a vital role that makes Kirkland Lake the incredible community it is. I want to thank Robin Conley and the entire CJKL team for their continued business and support of the town of Kirkland Lake. Congratulations to your team. For my part, public engagement and celebrations are ongoing as per your last year's reports. These public appearances and interactions play a major role in the duties of the office of the mayor, and I'm always so humbled to be included. I was able to receive AMO's training in managing communications in times of crisis, as well as being 50% through the training for the new OPP detachment board through the Solicitor General's office. Myself and Councillor Ranger both had the opportunity today to speak with Tom Gervais regarding where we currently stand, our next steps. And after all appointed members have completed their training, I'll bring updates as they occur. Madam Clerk.
Moved by Councillor Casey Owen, seconded by Councillor Rick Owen, be it resolved that the verbal updates for members of council be received.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 12, additional information. There is none this evening. We will now take a 5-minute recess in between open and close. Thank you. We're now rising from recess. Madam Clerk.
Moved by Councillor Patrick Kylie, seconded by Councillor Janice Ranger, be it resolved that Councillor Aaron Canlin at 5:53 PM pursuant to section 239(2) and 3.1 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended, to discuss the security of the property of the municipality or local board, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board, labor relations or employee negotiations, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local boards, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board for the following reasons. Item 13.1, supplemental IAFF collective bargaining. Item 13.2, staffing updates. Item 13.3, insurance and legal updates. Item 13.4, supplemental negotiation update, KL Solar Inc. And item 13.5, education council role on local and regional boards.
All in favor? Opposed, none noted, item carried unanimous. Will now rise from closed session.
Moved by Councillor Latchap, seconded by Councillor Casey Owens, be it resolved, the council reconvene in open session at 7:39 PM.
All in favor? Opposed, none noted, item carried unanimous. Any matters of continuing interest arising from in camera? None noted. Item number 14.1, supplemental IAFF collective bargaining.
Moved by Councillor Janice Ranger, seconded by Councillor Rick Owen, be it resolved that report number 2024, Corp 21 entitled Supplemental IAFF Collective Bargaining be received, and that council approve the memorandum of settlement between the corporation of the town of Kirkland Lake and the International Association of Firefighters Local 573 as presented, and that council authorize the mayor and municipal clerk to ratify the collective agreement between the corporation of the town of Kirkland Lake and the International Association of Firefighters Local 573, covering the period of January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2026, and finding that an execution by law be brought forward for 3 readings at a future meeting.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Councillor Dykens?
Madam Mayor, to the rest of council, I'm 100% against, this agreement. I think it's too costly for a town of our size. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further from other members? Councillor Shava?
Yeah, I'm gonna state that, while I, appreciate the hard work that the marketing team, and the staff put into this, in terms of wages and other stuff, I think I appreciate those provisions that are there. I have no issues with that, but I do have issues with, additional staffing.
Thank you. Anything further from other members of council? Councillor Owen?
Through you, your worship, I'm very pleased with this this agreement. Like I say, I've seen too many times when the fire department's gone to arbitration, and every time it has, it's cost us millions of dollars. I'm not willing to roll the dice on that again. We also know that the Ministry of Labor likes the number 4 in terms of work people, not 3. We've got our fire department to agree to 3, with chief, 3 per platoon. If we go to arbitration, I can guarantee on health and safety, the firefight, well, I can't guarantee, but I strongly suspect that the firefighters are gonna go for 4 people per platoon, which is gonna end up costing us even more. I wanna commend our HR and whoever else, I imagine the fire chief was involved, for coming up with, what seemed to me a very unreasonable ask down to something that both sides could agree to, and I believe is reasonable. When your house is on fire, you're not gonna be worried about how much the firefighter's getting paid. I can guarantee you, because I've been through that in my family. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? Councillor Owens?
Through you, Madam Mayor, just a quick comment that I fully support this agreement. I think it's a testimony from previous council and part of this council that we do support our local firefighters. This is a fair agreement that was fairly negotiated between staff and the fire department. It shows cooperation on both sides and it guarantees that moving forward, that it's something that we can afford, excuse me, and it guarantees the safety of our community. So I'm pleased with this agreement and I'm very okay with standing behind it.
Thank you. Councillor Ranger?
I just want to reiterate exactly what Councillor Owens has said. I'm fully supporting this negotiated agreement. I think it is a testament to both the union and HR and management that they successfully came to this agreement in a very respectful amount of time. We as council, gave our support to the negotiations for the things that they were discussing. So again, we brought forward our support, and so when it's being brought to the table, I'm pleased with the outcome for the community as well as for the corporation.
Thank you. Anything further from members of council? Councillor Owens?
Just a quick, when it's time to vote, can we ask for a recorded vote on this one, please?
Yes, absolutely. Anything further from members of council? For myself, I 100% support this. I believe the health and safety of our essential service is paramount. I have seen the cost of arbitration coming back against us, and it is massive and devastating to that year's budget. I do not want to kick any item down the road for any future council. And I believe that's essentially what we'd be doing if we went to arbitration. We may escape some costs this year and next year, but eventually it would fall into the laps of future council, and I will not do that to this community. It was a fair and open negotiation, which at times in the town of Kirkland Lake has not occurred. And I commend HR, chief, and staff that negotiated as well. I think you did a phenomenal job reaching a fair and respectful agreement, so I appreciate that. I'll have the reading, I'll have the reading of the motion once more.
Moved by Councillor Janice Ranger, seconded by Councillor Rick Owen, be it resolved that report number 2024-12-21 entitled Supplemental IAFF Collective Bargaining be received, and that council approve the memorandum of settlement between the Corporation of the Town of Kirkland Lake and the International Association of Firefighters Local 573 as presented, and that council authorize the mayor municipal clerk to ratify the collective agreement between the Corporation of the Town of Kirkland Lake and the International Association of Firefighters Local 573, covering the period of January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2026, and finally that an execution bylaw be brought forward for 2 readings at a future meeting. A recorded vote has been requested by the part of Councillor Casey Owens, Councillor Janice Ranger,
I'm in favor.
Councillor Lad Shaba,
I'm not in favor.
Councillor Casey Owens,
I'm in favor.
Councillor Dolly Dyckmans,
No.
Councillor Rick Owen,
In favor?
Councillor Patrick Riley,
Nay.
Mayor Stacy White.
Yay.
Motion is carried at 4-3.
Thank you. Motion is carried 4-3. Item number 15, confirmation bylaw, 15.1 bylaw number 24-019.
Moved by Councillor Dolly Dyckman, seconded by Councillor Casey Owens, be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, number passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 2419 being the bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held Tuesday, April 2nd, 2020.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item number 16, adjournment.
Moved by Councillor Patrick Kelly, seconded by Councillor Janice Ranger, be it resolved that this meeting of council is now adjourned at 7:46 p.m.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.